This is Juliette Bryant. She is an Epstein survivor. In 2019, she was awarded over $2 million as a part of the Epstein Victim Compensation Fund. She recently sat down with podcaster Blair White to recount her experiences with Epstein. She opens up about an experience where she saw Jeffrey Epstein shape-shift into something unimaginable.
They were all there. Jeffrey Epstein, Bill Clinton, Kevin Spacey, Chris Tucker. And I couldn't move. I was like paralyzed and I was naked and I couldn't move, I couldn't talk. So he sort of used to see how far he could sort of push people, I guess. Sorry, I get anxious about this.
Yeah.
When we were taken to his bedroom, it was always pitch dark and ice cold. Waking up in a laboratory with 6 people in hazmat suits around me.
How do you feel about the Trump administration's statements this week about Epstein?
I think it's horrific, actually, especially when Trump gained presidency promising the list. He told me he worked with CIA. He told me he had my family's name on a list.
It was the government doing it, so you can't really get the government to tell on itself.
A lot of people want to judge girls who are taken there and stuff, but they don't know what it's like being kidnapped by the most evil people in the world.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are interviewing Juliette Bryant, a survivor of the Jeffrey Epstein human trafficking network. I'm super honored to have her, and I think this is going to be extremely important information for everybody, especially in light of the recent super abysmal treatment of the entire topic of the Epstein client list by the current administration.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep?
You know, I just think that listening to the victims right now is obviously not only the most important thing, but the only thing we can do, because we can't listen to our government. That ship has sailed. And speaking for myself, you know, I did vote for Trump. And I thought that based on the fact that he was promising to release the Epstein files and, you know, disclosure about other topics, by the way, and he's really failed on all of those. You know, he disclosed only a fraction of the Kennedy files that still left people with a big question mark as to what happened, even though many of us obviously know through our own research. He promised to release what was up with the drones in the sky, you know, and that's something that people skip
the drones,
over.
What happened with that? That's exactly what I said recently. Everyone just forgot about it.
That's one of those stories that is insane, because we have a right to know if there's strange sky vehicles, you know, on both coasts of our country, and what those are, and if that's a threat.
In New Mexico, you know, I saw Epstein.
Can you say that one more time? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I saw in New Mexico, I saw a UFO in the sky. You know, and then I've got that flashback weird memory, waking up in a laboratory with 6 people in hazmat suits around me and a female doctor, and I couldn't move. I was like paralyzed and I was naked and I couldn't move. I couldn't talk. And then this doctor came near my head and she said, "Don't worry, everything's okay," and I was out again. You know, and I also saw Epstein shapeshift on the island. You know, that was before. This happened in New Mexico. You know, when I was on the island, I saw Epstein like suddenly, and people have actually asked some pretty good questions recently. It wasn't like I saw him turning like the Incredible Hulk. What happened is, it was when I was taken in the bedroom the one time, and he had like a blanket up to here, and then I looked away and I looked at him, and suddenly it wasn't him anymore. It wasn't like I saw him turning. It was like it was him, and then I looked away, and then when I looked back, it wasn't him. It was this weird creature. And then I looked away, and then I looked back, and it was him again. You know, and I can't really explain that. I mean, I can explain it as well as I can, and I can understand. Do you know what? If someone else told me this, like I keep saying, I wouldn't believe it. I totally wouldn't. I'd be like, okay, this person's either mad, or they were on drugs, or something. But the problem is that I saw it, and I wasn't on drugs.